Did you know that 78% of grocery stores across America are struggling to keep their shelves stocked? And it's not just the random, oh well, I can live without it, kind of stuff. We're talking about essential everyday items, things that could throw off your morning routine, your dinner plans, and even your special celebrations. Trust me, when you hear item number 6, you might just start stockpiling. If you've ever walked into a store only to find empty shelves where your favorite products used to be, you know how frustrating it is. And let's be real, seeing those "limit one per customer" signs makes you wonder if we're heading into another 2020 style grocery panic. But don't worry, I've got your back. In this video, we're diving into the 8 most surprising grocery shortages happening right now, why they're vanishing, and most importantly, how to make sure your family doesn't go without. Plus, I'll be sharing insider tricks that most shoppers don't know, so make sure you stick around. Oh, and before we jump in, only 1 in 3 grocery shoppers actually knows these supply chain hacks. Let's make sure you're not caught off guard. Hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below with what items you've been struggling to find. Now, let's dive in. Number 1. Wine and spirits. Alright, party people, brace yourselves. Your favorite bottle of wine might soon be harder to find than a decent parking spot at Costco on a Saturday. But here's the kicker, it's not the alcohol that's running out. It's the bottles. Yep, there's a global glass shortage, and it's hitting the booze industry hard. Glass manufacturers are only operating at 60% capacity. Why? Sky-high energy costs and a shortage of raw materials. Apparently, making glass requires a ton of heat, and with energy prices soaring, companies are cutting back production. Translation: fewer bottles, higher prices, and more people panicking over their wine racks looking suspiciously empty. Now, let's talk about the real tragedy here. Why is it always the good stuff that disappears first? Fancy wines. Scarce. Small batch bourbons. Vanishing. But somehow, there's always a dusty bottle of bottom shelf vodka available. Coincidence? I think not. So, what's the solution? Well, it's time to embrace alternatives. Boxed wine. It's not just for college students anymore. In fact, some boxed wines last longer and taste just as good, without the bottle drama. Local breweries and distilleries. Support them. They often reuse bottles or package in cans. Speaking of which, canned cocktails are a thing now, and honestly, they slap. But let's be real. Maybe this is the universe telling us to take a break from alcohol. You know, hydrate. Try a kombucha. Or, you could just start drinking straight from the barrel, if you can find one. 2. Eggs. Remember when eggs were the go-to cheap protein? Yeah, those days are over. Right now, egg prices are climbing faster than your aunt's blood pressure at Thanksgiving dinner. And it's not just a fluke, there's a full-blown crisis happening in poultry farms. First, we've got heat waves cooking chickens before they even make it to the fryer. Extreme temperatures are stressing out hens, reducing their egg production. Then, as if nature wasn't cruel enough, there's a new aggressive strain of bird flu sweeping through farms like a horror movie villain. Millions of birds have been culled, making eggs even more scarce. The result? Prices have doubled, and some stores are even limiting how many cartons you can buy. That's right, we're at the point where eggs are getting rationed, like they're liquid gold. At this rate, omelets might become a luxury meal. So, what's the plan? First, you can freeze eggs. Yes, that's a thing. Crack them into ice cube trays, and boom, future you will thank you. Or, if you're feeling adventurous, try plant-based egg substitutes. Some actually taste decent, and hey, no risk of salmonella. And don't forget about local farms. Many small-scale farmers still have eggs at fair prices, plus they usually taste better than store-bought. Moral of the story: if you see eggs on sale, grab them. Just don't be that person hoarding 5 dozen cartons, we're all in this together. 3. Coffee. Bad news, coffee lovers, your morning cup of joy is under attack. And no, it's not because of some new diet trend. Thanks to brutal droughts in Brazil and Vietnam, the world's coffee supply has dropped by 23%. That's like removing every fourth cup of coffee from existence. Terrifying, right? And with less coffee to go around, prices are skyrocketing, up 45%. Some coffee chains are even limiting how many bags you can buy. Imagine walking into your favorite shop, craving a fresh bag of beans, only to be told, sorry, we're out. That's not just an inconvenience, it's a caffeine emergency. But let's be real, quitting coffee is not an option. So what can we do? First, buy extra when you find it. Not in an apocalypse-level hoarding way, but enough to survive future price hikes. Second, support local roasters. Big chains are feeling the squeeze, but smaller roasters might still have hidden gems. Plus, their beans are usually fresher and tastier anyway. And here's a clever hack: switch to cold brew. It uses fewer beans than traditional brewing, and the smooth, rich flavor might just convert you for life. Bonus, cold brew lasts longer in the fridge, so you can stretch your supply. Moral of the story: stock up, sip wisely, and cherish every drop. Because if this coffee crisis gets any worse, we might have to start pretending tea is a suitable replacement, and nobody wants that. 4. Butter. Brace yourselves, butter is slipping right out of our hands. And no, it's not because we left it out in the sun. Extreme weather in New Zealand and Ireland, plus soaring feed costs, have dairy farms struggling. The result? A 43% price hike on butter and purchase limits in some stores. Because apparently, we now live in a world where butter is a luxury item. Just imagine, you're in the kitchen, ready to whip up a stack of fluffy pancakes, only to find out butter costs as much as a fancy latte. Tragic. And let's not even talk about holiday baking, cookies without butter. That's just sad. But don't panic yet. There are ways to survive this buttery apocalypse. First, freeze butter while you can still afford it. Yep, butter freezes beautifully, so stock up when prices dip. Second, swap it out. Greek yogurt and olive oil work surprisingly well in baking. Sure, your cookies might taste slightly different, but desperate times call for creative solutions. And if you're feeling fancy, try European-style butter spreads. They're creamier, richer, and sometimes even more affordable than traditional sticks. Plus, they make you sound sophisticated. Oh, I only use French cultured butter now. Bottom line: butter may be in crisis, but we're not giving up our toast just yet. 5. Rice. Who would have thought that plain old rice would become a VIP ingredient? But here we are. India, the world's top rice exporter, has slammed the brakes on exports, and the ripple effect is brutal. Prices have shot up 40%, and even those easy-peasy microwavable rice packs are playing hard to get. That's right, you might have an easier time finding a unicorn than a reasonably priced bag of jasmine rice. This is bad news for literally half the world, because rice isn't just food, it's a way of life. From sushi to burrito bowls to grandma's Sunday dinner, rice is everywhere. But thanks to export bans and dwindling supplies, your next takeout order might come with a side of, sorry, no rice today. So, what's the move? First, hit up your local Asian markets. They often have better stock and lower prices than big grocery chains. Second, consider rice alternatives. Yes, I know, nothing truly replaces the fluffy perfection of a fresh bowl of rice. But quinoa, barley, and even cauliflower rice can step in when needed. Will they taste the same? Not exactly. But hey, desperate times. At this rate, rice might soon be behind lock and key at the grocery store, next to the fancy steaks and expensive booze. Might as well start treating it like gold now. 6. Baby formula woes. Here we go again. Just when parents thought the baby formula crisis was over, it's back with a vengeance. But this time, it's not bacteria shutting down factories, it's good old red tape. Thanks to stricter FDA regulations, formula production has slowed down to a crawl. The result? A staggering 43% drop in stock, and if your baby needs a specialty formula, good luck, it's basically liquid gold at this point. Imagine walking into a store, scanning the shelves, and finding one lonely can of formula, except it's the wrong brand, wrong type, and costs as much as a week's worth of groceries. Frustrating, right? Parents are now hunting formula like it's a Black Friday deal. So, what's the game plan? First, call your pediatrician. They often have samples or know where to find stock. Second, check small, independent pharmacies. They tend to have formula when big chains run out. And lastly, join local formula finding Facebook groups. Yes, social media is chaotic, but when desperate parents come together, miracles happen. At this rate, babies might need to start placing pre-orders for their next meal. Welcome to parenting in 2025. 7. Berry heartbreaking news for all the berry lovers out there. Your favorite strawberries, blueberries, and raspberries. They're disappearing faster than your paycheck on payday. Thanks to crazy weather patterns and sky-high shipping costs, berry farmers are struggling to keep up. The result? Prices are soaring, and availability is about as reliable as a weather forecast. One day, you see fresh berries stacked high at the store. The next, poof, vanished. And if you do find them, be prepared to pay luxury prices, because apparently, a small container of blueberries now costs as much as a fancy coffee. So, what's the move? Buy in season. When berries are at their peak, they're cheaper and tastier. Hit up your local farmers markets, they often have better quality at lower prices. And freeze them. Stock up when they're affordable and throw them in the freezer. Future you will thank you when you're still making smoothies in the dead of winter. At this rate, we might need to start treating fresh berries like a special occasion dessert. Fancy dinner? Sure, let's splurge on a handful of raspberries. Just don't waste them, each one is worth its weight in gold. 8. Tomato products shortage. Brace yourself. Your beloved pizza and pasta nights are about to get a whole lot more expensive. Thanks to California's relentless drought, tomato production has taken a major hit. And since California supplies over a quarter of the world's processed tomatoes, that means your favorite sauces, canned tomatoes, and ketchups are now luxury items. How bad is it? Prices on tomato products have surged by 70%. That means your once affordable spaghetti dinner is now competing with steak night in price. And let's not even talk about ketchup. At this rate, fast food joints might start charging extra for every squeeze. So, what can you do? Get crafty. If you ever wanted to feel like an old-school Italian grandma, now's your chance. Make your own tomato sauce and freeze it. Try bold alternatives like miso paste or gochujang for that umami kick. And if you've got a backyard, or even a sunny windowsill, grow your own tomatoes. Trust me, future you will thank you when the price of marinara sauce starts requiring a small loan. What's your go-to tomato product? Stocking up or switching it up? Let me know in the comments. We've covered a lot: empty shelves, sky-high prices, and foods disappearing like magic tricks no one asked for. It's frustrating, but here's the thing, we're adaptable. Humanity has survived worse, remember 2020, and we'll get through this too. The key? Think ahead, shop smart, and get creative. Try new alternatives, support local producers, and stock up when you can. Who knows? You might even discover a new favorite food in the process. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you noticed these shortages? What's been the hardest to find in your area? Drop a comment below, share your survival hacks, and let's help each other out. And hey, if you found this video helpful, or at least mildly entertaining, hit that like button and subscribe for more food updates, tips, and, of course, a little bit of sarcasm. Stay stocked, stay smart, and I'll see you in the next one.